Good morning and welcome to another ramble where we will be covering the future of RuneScape and OSRS. This is the special Q&A with the new CEO of Jagex Mod North. And you know what? Based on my last video that we were covering, maybe I was a bit too harsh on Mod North. So we'll cut him some slack. I will be very gracious in this video. And let's hear what he has to say, because a lot of people have been like, you know what, Sebe? He's against microtransactions, and you said that, you were getting scared for that. And you know what? Maybe I was overreacting. I feel like, it's just sometimes you got to overreact a little bit. It stimulate some comments in the comment section. So let's give this a listen. We're going to have a live chat. We are both live on Twitch and on YouTube. So go check it out, guys. And yes, I was too harsh, wasn't I? And let's get into this. All right, here we go.
Hello everyone and welcome to a very special video. I'm your host, Mod Aiza, Lead Community Manager for Old School RuneScape, and I'm joined by the wonderful...
I am Mod Yuri, Community Manager for RuneScape.
And today we are joined by the one and only Mod North, Jagex's new CEO. Hello Mod North.
Hello again. Hello there. I'm good, I'm rested. RuneFest took it out of me for a bit, but I'm good, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, RuneFest, of course, we can't forget that. We have a load of questions to get through, but we're going to break the ice a little bit first. Let's talk about RuneFest. I had a fantastic time personally. How did you find RuneFest, Mod North? Were you there?
I was there, yeah. I mean, I've been at a few of them in the past as well, both as an employee and a player. And actually to see the sort of the build up over 6 years and the sudden sort of relief moment when everybody got together again was amazing for me. Real goosebumps. I think it wasn't just amazing for the players, but to see our team as well interacting and getting together and spending time with the people they're trying so hard for was just like really special thing.
Yeah, it was really, really wholesome, heartwarming throughout. Did you have a favourite moment if you had to pick one throughout the whole weekend?
I think watching Austin try and chug that beer for about a minute straight, I think that was amazing.
And the socks, don't forget the socks.
I've never seen so much hype over a single thing, and it was socks. Yeah, it was amazing.
It definitely carried through for the entire event. I've been on 2 panels afterwards, and it was just socks, socks, socks.
We'll have to check our sales of socks after the event and see if that's our new best product.
They're pretty much sold out after that, I think.
Yeah, I bet.
So. It's amazing.
Okay, well, let's get into some light touch questions to begin with. I'm sure people are keen to know a little bit more about your background. But before we get into that, I just want to ask a very generic question of how does it feel to be stepping into the shoes of CEO at Jagex?
Yeah, it's an honor. It's a genuine honor. I've been playing these games for more than 20 years, as I said, and sort of come full circle and assume responsibility in this way is hard to describe. I'm imminently aware of, or deeply aware of, the responsibility to our players and our people. Incredible. This is very, very precious ground. It's hallowed earth. And so yeah, I'm just very conscious that this needs to be treated, our games need to be treated with the utmost care and respect, and our communities too, obviously.
For sure.
That's good to hear.
So you touched on that. So for anyone watching who don't know who you are, for example, can you tell us a little more about your games industry experience, like with Jagex or RuneScape, for example?
Yeah, of course. So as a professional,
what about the
you mean?
casino game?
Yeah. So I started my career at Jagex. I didn't go into the investment banking job that I should have gone into. Instead, I went and joined a video games company that I loved. And part of that was to spite the parents who'd been saying, you'll never get a job if you play that game all day. Look at me now, Mum. That said, so that's how I got into the industry. After that, I spent the next few years only working in gaming. So first as an investor, I invested in a bunch of early stage gaming studios to try and create the next big games of the world. After that, I joined a radically different business to Jagex, a business called Huge Games, which is a mobile gaming business, very monetization oriented, entirely different to Jagex and what this company needs.
At least he acknowledges it's different.
Yeah, saw that company through an IPO, did a lot of good work with the players of those games. And then sort of through a winding path, found my way back to Jagex in the last sort of 6 months. So it's amazing to be back.
Yeah. Well, welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, welcome, exactly that. Okay, so I know a little bit about your background in terms of actual gaming. You've spoke to me a little bit about RuneScape and Old School. Claim to be max in RuneScape?
At one point I was. This was before
school.
some of the recent 110s, but at one point a couple of years ago I was maxed.
That's a pretty good achievement. And what about Old School? So we know we're close to max. What's your total level?
2175.
Wow.
Okay,
so you are relatively close.
Can you tell that I checked?
You were prepared for this.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know what?
I mean, look, it's a high total level,
Better than
sort of
1800 total,
in a literal
said.
sense, but I'm miles away. I think I'm like high mid 80s on agility, mining, and rune crafting. So I'm about a quarter of the way
You
there.
really saved the
He's
best
one
for
of
last.
us.
Exactly,
Well, not one of
exactly,
me.
yeah.
I'm
That is good.
kind of
So
sweaty.
I'm
with
not
that
really
agility,
a
but-
total level skiller kind of guy. I think I'm a PVMer, very casual most of all. I've been a PvPer in the past, but terrible. But now I'm
He's
a
us.
TOB obsessive.
Awesome. So you know your level. Well, what is your favorite piece of content, would you say?
Yeah, it's got to be Theatre of Blood. It's got to be. Like, I get hard carried every time by the group that I play with. And I always end up being the mage and like freezing Nilos. But yeah, I love it. For whatever reason, I think that second raid that Old School did has
We gotta
real
look him
alchemy
up.
in
Guys,
it.
somebody
I love
some
TOA, I
scan
love
the high
Chambers,
scores,
but
look
for
for the
whatever reason,
2175s,
Top's
and
the
see
one
what his
for me.
top case is.
Oh, I
He's
like
probably
it.
done
You
like 3
speak
of
in
them.
my language because it's also my favorite raid.
We
by a
will
long
raid at
mile.
some point. We'll
We
do
will.
that.
So you fancy at some point maybe we'll jump on stream and
I'm
showcase
going to
your
regret
skills?
saying it, but yes,
He
absolutely.
better not pull an
You heard it
Elon.
here first. The community stream coming to you. We'll have Mod North with the team of TOB carries.
Yeah.
Just watch him not know how to like
Fantastic.
click
Okay,
around the
so
map. He's
a
just
little
like,
bit of the
he's
fun
really
stuff out of the way.
confused.
There's some pretty serious questions. We had the announcement go out on Tuesday, just of this week, and with there we asked the community what questions that they might have for you based on the announcement. Now, some of our players are wondering why now has the CEO suddenly changed, and more specifically, was that tied to, quite frankly, some of the backlash that we saw from the players regarding the conjoint analysis around membership?
No, not even remotely. These changes, to change the CEO of a business like this, it takes months of prep and timing. It's not an easy thing to do, and it's definitely not a fast thing to do. And so changes like this don't happen overnight and in response to single items like this. Actually, my respect for Mod Pips, as you've already heard, is huge. He managed this business as a CEO for 8 years. He'd been part of the team for 14. He took a 20-year-old point-and-click browser MMO to its greatest player numbers ever late last year, alongside obviously your fantastic
Elon's unbearable
teams.
to listen to. Jesus
but
Christ.
what he's done is not to be knocked, and I can't think of anyone else who's done something similar. So no, this is definitely not a knee-jerk reaction to anything that's happened in the past few months.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying. And I'd just like to, if possible, another difficult one, potentially, talk more specifically around that conjoint membership analysis. Is there anything that we feel players should know about right now, anything that they may expect to hear from in the future?
Yeah, that conjoint analysis was a total misstep, like just total misstep. I've been a player for 20 years, and my first feeling seeing that conjoint go live was, that was a mistake. That's not who we are. Ultimately, I was a board member at the time, total responsibility for that alongside the rest of the management team and the board. However,
Respect.
It was a mistake, and I think we're 100% clear on that. It shouldn't need to be said out loud, but there will never be microtransactions in old school RuneScape ever. This will never be an advertising.
He's crossing his legs.
Business.
He's crossing
That's
his
not
legs.
who we are.
have to
I'm
cross your
aware of
fingers.
that. Management's aware of that. The team's aware of that, and the players are definitely aware of that. But I just, for the sake of clarity, total misstep, lines in the sand.
Okay, great. Again, thank you for the extra clarity. And there's one more thing I'll press you about on this matter, and that is around improvements. One of the things that came out of that was a perceived notion for value when players are paying for their membership, especially around our services that we offer them. Is there anything that players can expect to learn more about on that?
Yeah, good question. Absolutely, yes. So we will be publishing a roadmap for customer service improvements in April, so in 1 month.
A roadmap,
You can
not the
expect
actual
to see a lot of
customer service
what
roadmap.
you might expect to see. Things like more human
good.
interaction in the process, transparency
More human? You mean
of
any
ticket
human
management
interaction?
processes. Some self-serve functionality, all of the things that you'd really hope
not
to
the
see from a
self-serve.
best-in-class
Stop.
live game
Jesus
customer
Christ.
service
Nobody wants to
production.
fucking navigate
It's not all
a
going to drop
FAQ.
overnight, but there is a real clear process, and we're going to treat this just like a large piece of content that's rolling out, whether it's Zaya, Varlamore, or Sailing, and check in with the community procedurally and frequently with status updates. So yeah, April.
Amazing.
Fantastic. That's great. So, as our CEO, what is your, would you say, is your vision for Jagex, RuneScape, old school RuneScape? What would you say is your 10-year plan, for example, between 5 to 10 years?
10-year plans to grow the communities of both. And it really is that simple. So Jagex as a business is fantastic at maintaining and building and growing old school RuneScape and RuneScape 3 and shortly RuneScape Survival. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But actually, what's closest and nearest to my heart is taking old school RuneScape and RuneScape 3, not meddling with the formula, making them incrementally better with the most fantastic designers, I think, on earth for these games. I'm looking to many of your respective teams here. I think if I get out of the way and empower and endorse and support those teams to continue doing what they've been doing, particularly in the case of old school, and we'll talk a bit more about the differentiations between each shortly, I suspect. Get out the way, empower them to do what they do best, deliver fantastic content that players want for years on end. And we supplement that with a bit of hype building. I actually think there's no reason why these communities can't grow healthily for the next sort of 5-10 years. And to be honest, in the case of RuneScape 3, I think we need to think longer than 10 years. It needs to be 25, 50 years in the future. There's no reason why these games can't have another 25 years in the case of a game like RuneScape 3. We just need to make sure that game, its economic model, its integrity is set up for another 25 years of sustainable, healthy growth.
You heard it here, 25 years. Let's go.
That's really
Yeah, that's it. There's a little exclamation mark, remind me, 25 years.
Set
in the
your
chat.
reminders.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
So
50 years, I'll be 79. I'll still be
elephant
playing.
in the room within the community has been your previous roles. And you mentioned yourself working at Huge. Now, I'm not going to lie, I've personally seen many players with a large amount of skepticism behind your intentions coming into Jagex, fearing the worst case being hugely aggressive monetization across both games. What's your response to that?
There will never be microtransactions in old school RuneScape, and RuneScape 3 needs to be less aggressive on monetization in order to build sustainability for the next 25
They just
years.
don't care about
It's
RS3,
as clear
but
as I
like,
can
it's
be.
already fucking
I've seen
down the drain.
firsthand what these hyper-monetizing games on mobile look like. That is not what our games are, and it is not what they need. It's totally incompatible. So while I totally have respect for the skepticism and perhaps cynicism about my background and thinking, oh God, I don't want my community and my game to go in that direction, it will not.
Brilliant.
That's great. So MTX is obviously a very big topic in the RS3
Take that.
community. We've
We'll
had
take that.
a whole mass of questions that have been coming in regarding this. Last year, we had a consultancy questionnaire about MTX to our players. So what can they expect? Has there been any update on this that we can tell our players?
Yeah, good question. So I looked at that consultancy when it went live. I think I responded myself, and I've seen some of the results since. Look, my view on this is we're not in a sustainable holding pattern right now with the way that RuneScape 3 monetizes. That's no secret. The community knows this. It was clear in the feedback. Our internal team knows this, and our team are extraordinary. They care about this game more than you'd believe. They don't want it to be an unsustainable pattern. Players don't want it to be an unsustainable pattern. I don't want it to be an unsustainable pattern. What we need to do is recognize that we're leaning a bit too much on the gas right now, maybe a lot too much, and find a way to come off the gas. It won't be quick. This is a game with 20 years of feature development and interconnected systems within it that are all tied into our microtransaction ecosystem. That's not an easy thing to unpick, and so it won't be a mic drop moment where everything sort of gets switched off and we move forwards. It will be turning the tanker into a direction that guarantees another 25 years of sustainable, healthy operation. I think the quick way to answer it is we know there is a problem there. I'm personally invested in creating a more healthy game. So yeah, it's going to happen. It will happen.
Great, thank you. I'm sure, a lot of players are going to be wanting to know more about this. So, that's great. Thank you for being honest about it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so what about things that aren't RuneScape or old school, right? There's a lot of upcoming projects, things that Jagex are working on, especially something like RuneScape Project Survival. How do you feel about that?
That is RuneScape. That is absolutely RuneScape. It's not old school, but it is RuneScape. Look, Survival for me is really interesting project. I've been quite lucky. I've played a bunch of the internal builds and some of the alpha test builds as well over the past few months. And the last one, genuinely, a few weeks ago, I was supposed to be spending about an hour just looking through the latest build to check for changes. Spent more than 20 hours playing the game over a weekend. I'm not joking,
way.
I swear.
Oh, wow.
And so I got really hooked, and I think my girlfriend was worried about my health. And about 4 a.m., I sort of trundled into the bedroom, still stressing about goblins just destroying my
nerd.
house without
He is
giving
one
out
of
too
us.
much.
He is
a
I
nerd.
am, I swear, I actually am. I'm really excited. This is one of the first big releases that Jagex has had. for a long time.
I wouldn't say
now,
certified.
years.
He has a girlfriend.
And it's one of the few products that I've seen sort of being ideated upon that really deserves to wear the RuneScape name, in my opinion. So we'll hear more about that shortly, but I'm stoked. I think it'll be great.
Amazing.
Well, Mud North, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us today and answer the questions. The transparency has been really appreciated. I've personally really, really been grateful for the fact that you've been here. I'm sure the players have too. Speaking of transparency, is this something that we should expect more of moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're at our best when the game teams and the community are closest together. I think that needs to continue, and it's going to be one of my jobs to make sure that it does. But ultimately, I think your game teams, you folks on the front line, already do a pretty great job of it. I think what we're doing with player support, announcing the roadmap in April, is a great example of the tone that we'd like to continue to set. But actually, I don't think there's a need to reinvent the wheel on that, to be honest. It's important that the community stays close to the game team, and myself and the rest of the leadership team, we do what we can to enable that.
Amazing. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Of course.
So thank you so much, Mod North. It's been absolutely fantastic having you here with us. I'm sure the players are going to be super excited to see what's coming up next in the next update. But thank you all for joining us. We will see you soon.
Thanks, gents.
Bye.
Awesome. Okay, what do you guys think? Honestly, I thought that was pretty damn good. It didn't feel as scripted. He seemed a little bit more down to earth. He's got the RuneScape merch t-shirt on. Don't believe this man. I'm believing him for the most part until we see the microtransactions come into the game. No, honestly, I think they had a pretty big scare in the fact that he was saying he was a part of that board that, you know, put the green light on those surveys. He's like, all right, dude, yeah, shit, we fucked up. He's taking full accountability and he's realizing, all right, you know what? I'm now in charge, so we're gonna make this good. So I think he's doing good. That felt way more grounded. I agree. So he's a gamer as well. He's not just like, you know, I don't know. I appreciate that he's a longtime RuneScape player too, and he's 2175 total. You know, like that's. I was thinking, you know, he wasn't going to be much. And the thing is, he's also maxed on RS3. He probably paid for it. No, actually, I doubt he paid for it. If he's 2175 on old school, he's actually a gamer. So I'm looking forward to it. I think my mind has been slightly shifted from this video. I'm not as pessimistic. I just always get concerned when there's like new leadership. I'm just like, oh crap. But this was relieving. So let me know down in the comments. Am I going crazy? Are you going crazy? Are we all going crazy? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for listening, guys. Also, all of these rambles are on Spotify. Go check it out. Link in the description. And I'm live right now. We are going to actually be killing Commander Zilliana on the squat cam today. So go pop into the stream. I'm pretty excited. We just got a few more like prep stuff to do, and then we're going to make the stams and get the hell over there. I'm really excited. See if we get an ACB, an SGS, and a full God Sword. And then we're on to the Inferno. This might be a little bit, though. We might go dry. So anyway, thank you guys for listening as always. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.